That pledge came about with Greg Abbott, Governor Greg Abbott. He was the one that initiated it, and it is said throughout all the schools, public schools, and I thank God for him, because that's why I think God is smiling down on Texas. He's preparing our youth for coming under God. So it's very crucial when there's so much going against public schools today from the federal level. I do want to thank everybody here coming, all the candidates who came, all the voter surveys. We had 13 that answered. I know a lot more about others. I didn't get the voter guides done tonight like I wanted to. There's a few things that I have a hacker. I'm looking for $179 to stop this hacker, but sometimes some of my email is eaten. So I'm still waiting on a couple that I know they sent it. So I'll put it off a little bit longer. But I do want to get this information out, because every church Christian should know what is going on. So that will be out pretty soon. Like I said, I'm going to pass this out after the candidates speak, of the ones that I have. Some are here, some are not. But you can look at it. I have one copy for everyone to look at. And I have some on the commissioners that are very interesting. And some, I'm just putting out what they sent me. So when I do the voter guide, in other words, you're getting the elite information. When I do the voter guide, I won't have all that information down. So you're getting the elite of what the different candidates said. And please keep it, you can get my voter guide from the website, Christian Coalition-Bayer.org, when it's ready. So we'll have that done. I do want to mention a couple of things. Billy Graham, there's some 10 points. He's having a crusade on April the 26th with Franklin. This is to win souls, win the lost. And also, he's out to go to each capital of each state before the elections, which is he's going to pray at the steps of the Capitol to pray for the people that God chooses to win. You might want to join him. It's going to be in Austin, April 26th at the state capitol. And so if you can make that day, it would be wonderful, because we need, they've had 2,000 in one state and 30 degrees below. Not below, I mean below 30 degrees. It was very cold. And 3,000 in another state, 4,000 in another state. Texas is bigger, we should get a lot more. So we need to get everybody out there voting for our state. The 26th, he has 10 prayer points for the leaders of our country. So you can get that at the back table back there, 10 points. And you can take that back. Yes, Dave has it. You can get that and take it to your prayer department in your church, because we need to start getting people praying for leaders that will be doing this. Also, there's a packet for pastors, Alan. There's a packet for pastors. I think I have 3. So I went to the planning committee in Austin, and they gave us pastor packets. So you can, we want to get people on board. So especially when they're saying, pray for political candidates, raise up political candidates. We had 50% unopposed in the state House representatives, 50% unopposed, that had liberal candidates. 50%. We need to get more candidates running. Also, there's a packet to give out at your church. There's a few of these. that you might want to get for your church. It says, pray. Again, the only answer is God to our country. The only answer is prayer. If we don't pray, nothing's going to happen. We've seen what's happened with the church, that when they have not prayed, when they don't get educated on where the candidates stand, they don't go out and vote. The pastors say go out and vote, but they don't know who to vote for, so they still stay home. Why should they vote? So we're trying to get these out to the churches to know where the candidates stand on moral issues. Okay. Also, I'll give out the pastors' voter guides later after the candidates speak. We have 6 candidates to speak. Before we do that, where's Janice? I do want to mention this is Martin Luther King Day, Jr. Day, and I specifically wanted it this day because it is Martin Luther King's Day. And I have a heart for the unification of all races. I have a heart for that. I'm from New York State. I lived up north most of the time. Well, 17 years. The rest is down here. But my growing up years was up north. I have a heart because I also believe the Bible, Colossians 3:11, which says we're all equally important. No one's more important or less important than anybody else. We want to see the unity. Racism is a sin. But as long as we have the world, the two forces, it will continue. But the problem is where the laws are. Where the laws are. So we want candidates who will stand up for all races, equally important. And so...
She would like to work on the microphone.
Sure, go ahead. Thank you. Thank you, Jack. We want to see this come about. And like I said, Abraham Lincoln was with stopping the slavery, which was most of the, well, half of them at least, were ungodly and taskmasters. But they should have a choice whether they should be working there or not. So, slavery was ended with Abraham Lincoln. Martin Luther King ended 100 years later the emotional, mental, and financial. Because I moved to Mississippi in 1963, and the finances were, for the Afro-Americans, was very, very, very low. There's no way they could move across the tracks because they didn't have the money. They weren't making the salary. So Dr. Martin Luther King was super. And right now, I think San Antonio is one of the best cities to stop, bring this unity of all the races, black, white, and brown. And I've been to a number of their conferences. It's really good, really good. Okay, Janice Flowers, would you come up, please? She is going to receive the award for her husband. And she's, I can't say the better half because they're equally great. Thank you. I'd like to give this award. It says, First Annual Cultural Award, Pastor Charles Flowers, Black, White, and Brown Conferences. And this is for promoting the unity of all races in the body of Christ, of all races. Thank you.
Nancy, thank you so much for the honor. And I just want to say that we have a I guess it's a conference every year. It's called San Antonio Black, White, and Brown. And what it is just basically unifying the body of Christ here in San Antonio, because we realize that we cannot do anything of ourselves. First of all, we need the Lord Jesus Christ, and we need his power, and we need his strength. And so, but we also need the body of Christ to come together, like the book of John in chapter 17. Jesus prayed that we would be one, as Jesus and the Father are one. And so that's our heart's desire, and we just really appreciate the acknowledgement. But I wanted to read in Ephesians chapter 4, and it says, starting with verse 1, it says, I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you would walk worthy of the vocation wherewith you are called. We all have a calling that God has called us to. And it says, with all lowliness and meekness. You know, none of us are big. You know, we're all in the Lord. With long suffering, forbearing one another in love. And this is the part I'd like to emphasize. It says, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. So endeavoring, there's an endeavor. That means we are working hard, we're striving, we're working together as one to for that unity and that peace that only comes from God. You know, God is, you know, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty and there's peace. And so we just want to just thank God and encourage each of us to walk together in unity in whatever way we can, you know, because God, his Spirit is working in us and through us. And it goes on to say, there's one body, there's one Spirit, and we know the Spirit of the Lord, one body, one Spirit, even as you are called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. So praise God. Thank you so much. Yes, if I could, I didn't bring any flyers or anything, but on our website, faith-outreach.org, you can go to our website and you can get more information about the conference that is coming up February 26th and 27th, but I think that is the date. But go to our website and just go on there, because we have some great speakers. The title of our conference this year is, oh Lord, I just drew a blank. But one of the topics is, can Islam and Christianity dwell together? We know what that is. But we have, but there are people who are trying to say that yes, it can happen, but we all know. But we have some great speakers, Kamal, Salim, and some others. A lot of you are familiar with Lieutenant Colonel Roy White. And there's just a lot of information. I don't want to take the time, but go to our website, faith-outreach.org, and get more information. Yes, ma'am.
Just so you know, the 27th and 28th are Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, it's a Friday and Saturday. So it's the what?
It's the 26th and 27th.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. God bless you.
Oh, that would have been a good one. I didn't get it.
Is there any questions about the scorecard? This is from the Texas Eagle Forum scorecard. They do it every year. I mean, not every year, but every year before the election. So it's something to check up with at TexasEagleForum.com, I guess it is, with Kathy Adams. She's terrific. She's been doing this for 12 years. And as you can see, San Antonio needs a lot of work. A lot of work. But we might have someone come in, but we'll see. All right. First of all,
Go to the microphone.
yeah. First of all, we'll have Mike Kerner and Pamela Lill to come up and give a 2-minute speech on who you are and why they should elect you. And then we'll have questions from We'll have some questions and then we'll have from the audience.
And can
So if I go first, then people will say I'm not being courteous. But I will. All right.
Pam deferred to me, just so you know. Well, good evening. Thank you all for being here. Nancy, thank you for what you do, as always. It's always good to see you again. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mike Kerner, and I'm running for Bexar County Commissioner in Precinct 3 in the Republican primary. So, real quick, some of you that do know me know that for the last 5 years, I've worked for both the House and the Senate. I was a district director for Congressman Kiko Canseco in the Texas 23rd. And for the last 3 years, I have been Senator Ted Cruz's regional director for here in Bexar County and the other 47 counties west out to El Paso. One of the other unique things you may not know is one of my side duties of working for the senator is that every time Pastor Cruz comes to town, it is my duty, responsibility, and honor and fun to staff Pastor Raphael when he comes down and speaks at the various churches. Pastor Flowers and Pastor Cruz were together at the Watchman on the Wall event last year, sponsored by FRC. So I get a good chance to talk to a lot of folks and also to Pastor Cruz. Jack's holding up the sign back there. But real quick, the other thing you may not know about me is I'm a combat veteran who served 20 years in the Navy in the intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance business. And the real answer is for 20 years there hasn't been a contested primary for county commissioner, and I think it's time for the voters to actually have a choice, and this year they have 3. So we're all going to make our best pitch to y'all everywhere we go, and mine's real simple. County government is an extension of the state legislature. It has core functions. It has public safety, public health, roads and infrastructure, and maintaining the vital statistics and records, and that's how we serve the constituents in the county, whether it's in our precincts or countywide. And we need to get back to those core functions, and your tax dollars need to go back to those core functions and stop getting funneled to legacy projects like San Pedro Creek, streetcars, baseball stadiums, and soccer stadiums. So with that, go to my website, MikeKerner.com. You can see my vision on there. I encourage you to do that, engage with us, and I ask for your support, and I ask for your vote. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll hang out. I'll just move off the side so Pam can talk, and then you guys can fire questions. So.
Okay, my name is Pamela Lill. Randy Bean, I finally figured out who you are. Do you remember me?
No.
Yes, okay. Anyway, I'm a retired Air Force major. I'm new to the political scene except for always supporting somebody else, which I got involved with our Sheriff Susan Hammerlew. We're both retired Air Force officers, so, you know, I got started in that. And a lot of people know me as far as churches. I go to the Unitarian Church. Does anybody know about that? There you go. Good. But no, I'm running. My signs aren't up yet. They will be going up this week. And I did 20 years in the Air Force. I was stationed at Ellis Air Force Base, Nevada. I am new to county commissioner, but I did go on the website and read the things that county commissioners do. And in the Air Force, I got bounced around to all kinds of jobs, but guess what? I learned them. And I want to work for you. And if anybody have any questions, talk to me after the event.
Yeah, that too. We're going to have some a little bit later.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I forgot. We wanted to do the issues first. So we'll do the issues and then we'll ask questions.
Okay.
Because the issues are very crucial for the candidates.
Okay.
Are you ready for the issues? YouTube?
Do we stay in here?
You can sit down.
I'll take a seat
Okay.
until you're in. Okay, cool.
Can you do the YouTube
What do you
for the smart meters?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm ready to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm Bobby Miller. I'm here today with a friend of mine, and we want you to hear our message. I'm Bobby Miller, and this is Nancy Getman.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here with Bobby because this is an opportunity to awake America, to awake San Antonio, to awake the nation of these problems that are coming to us secretly, deceptively. And we need to expose this so that everyone can do something about it that wants to. And so we're trying to educate everyone about this. So I'm Nancy Getman with Christian Coalition, and Bobby Mueller came with another friend several times to educate our ministry meetings on what was happening. And I was such alarming. Everybody was alarmed and shocked. And we had many candidates on the mayor forum, and all of them addressed this issue because they didn't even know about it before. So what we're trying to do right now is alert our nation to what the problems are and what can be done to offset this.
I've been involved in politics and community service since the 60s. So I have a natural inclination to want to reach others when I know the truth and people don't seem to know what's going on. I can't hold myself down without calling in the media and calling people I know and getting invited to different organizations so we can present the facts and try to keep our community safe. That's important to me. I saw the film Take Back Your Power, and if you haven't seen it, I would suggest that you get it on the internet and watch it. There are several versions. One is a shorter version, which runs about an hour, I'm told. Now, this version I have runs more than an hour, but there is one available less time. But what's important is it's a very good documentation of what's happening across the country and across the world in other countries as well with smart meters. And smart is a misnomer because it's not very smart. It has many hazards attached to these meters being put on your home. Now, Nancy, I'd like to read a paragraph out of this website right here that I think is excellent, and it gives an overview of the problem with smart meters. I better put on my glasses, excuse me here. Several weeks ago, the occasion arose to view the screening of this video that I just showed you. You can officially get on the trailer, of course, on the website just by typing in Take Back Your Power. The 2013 National Security Agency, NSA, which we've heard about, spying scandal, exposed vast programs to monitor your personal communications. Now, energy utilities and governments are reaching into your own home through fast-track smart meters and spy-ready technology. But what you have is a choice at stake in your home: surveillance, increasing bills, emerging health risks, and more hacking vulnerabilities. A smart grid is an electrically distribution network that utilizes smart meters. A smart meter is a wireless, hardwired, two-way communication device that connects your home or business and broadcasts your personal information and energy use habits to the electric grid company. Now, I want to show you a diagram, if you can swing the camera around, Harry.
Yes,
To this picture right here. Can you zoom in on that?
I'm there.
That's a picture of a smart meter. And if you have one that looks like that, it's probably news to you. You may not know you have one, but it is digital. It has the reading of the meter counts the number of volts, I guess, is it?
But there's no insurance. Your house is on fire, you have no way to get the money back. So, and this was forced on, see, this is a new technical thing ever since 2009, forcing things on people. Well, this is being forced, just like Obamacare, this is being forced. It should not be enforced. It should not be. We should have something with the city council, county commissioners, or Congress, state representatives, eventually Congress. But we need to protect Texas. We need to protect San Antonio. There's so many things that goes wrong with this. Your appliances blow up. Again, there's no insurance. They don't believe, they say we didn't cause it when they did. It's like within a few days some of it blows up. Some of it catches fire. Again, they say, no, we didn't cause it. We're not going, let the insurance people. So many things. That's just to give you an idea. But the whole bottom line is we should not be forced. We should not. We should have a choice. And as far as I'm concerned, we should kick it out. We should kick it out of San Antonio. Kick it out of Texas. Question? Yes. Yes.
I have a question. I lived in Nevada for 15 years. I lived in Nevada for 15 years, and I didn't have one of those. How long have they been around? Or they said
Well, since 2009, it started up.
Oh, I moved away in 2002.
Okay, so 2009 is when this whole thing started with the smart meters, and from high up.
Okay, I was just wondering because I don't remember them.
No,
They said a lot of them were in Nevada.
Yeah, and you think about it with all that glitzy hotels. There's a lot of electricity.
Well, it's also very dry there, very dry and hot. Here it's hot and humid.
So, but I'm just saying the electricity, the power is because it's plastic. If it was metal, it could take it. But because it's plastic, there's so much power going into it. Maybe one is okay, there's 3 little prongs, and one of them can't take it.
And what if the child touched it, got electrocuted?
Well, the appliances, all of them, all the above. Oh, there's so much. I'm trying to remember all. Oh, they put something. Somebody said, is this electric or water? It's both. They put stuff in the water. So it's both. They put stuff in the water and they check out how, is he in the right? Okay. They check out what's going on in your house. There's no privacy. Okay? They check out what's going on because they can see how much water is consumed, when it's consumed, when you're home, when you're not home. But there's also conversations. There's a whole bunch, and it goes. Information goes back to water. Yes.
Recently, I had a problem with my electricity with the meter, and I spoke with the meter reader and I asked him about the smart meter. And the complex that I live in happens to be owned by a Haven company. And he said, I don't know if it's all the Haven company complexes or just mine, still apartments, but they have not gotten any approval from the apartment complex to put the meters in, which is wonderful, but that then is going to also form more problems. And my immediate thought is, besides all the other things that are wrong with the cost that happened, was these meters in the apartments have to be outside the apartment, which means that it's opened up the world to seeing what's going on in your apartment, besides possibly touching or what have you. And what is it going to cost us as consumers to not have those put in, or to possibly be fined if we don't have them because somebody else, a landlord or whoever, chose to not have it? To me, this, like so many other things that happen in our nation, this is something for the citizens to vote on, not for a jurisdiction or a state or a nation like Obamacare would say. Just arbitrarily say, this is yours.
This is true, except if it's going to harm so many people. And with insurance, no insurance, the houses go on fire. It's just, it's ridiculous. All these people. First of all, you're missing your furniture, your clothes, and whatever else is important. but then, and you have to get that fixed, but then not to get the money for it, you're stuck.
You would think the insurance industry would have gotten against this and lobbied that it not.
There may have been some, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
there may have been some.
The other thing is that you can't read your meter anymore. I called CPS and I told them, I'm used to reading my meter. They said, oh, well, you can be connected to your computer. We can come out and we can put this up and then they can control your heat, your air and so forth for you. But you can override it if you're smart enough. But we have in excess of 340,000 seniors in San Antonio. Guess what? They don't have computers. They're not connected to the internet. 25% of them are don't even have food, let alone a computer. And and CPS is telling them. So they used to, I always read my meter. Believe it or not, I read my own meter. I used to read it, they'd read it, and I would read it. But now, guess what? I can't read my meter anymore. Very interesting.
There's
Very interesting.
so many wrong things going on
Oh,
that's
yeah.
being forced
Too
on
many
us,
wrong things.
and we should not be forced. But I think it is enough damage to the citizens, and I think, well, we need to stand up. We need to stand up and stop this forcing everybody to do it. Yes.
Lots of people have opted out, but we're paying them
Yes,
to opt out.
that's it. You pay extra
Right.
to
Well,
opt
I'm
out.
paying.
Yeah, you're paying extra to opt out. You don't want cancer, you don't want brain damage or anything else.
My insurance company said they would not pay, if my house, I live in a historic home. And so I was very concerned about the wiring and this, putting this meter in. I told them not to. They did it when I wasn't there anyway, although I had opted out. They came when I wasn't there. At their lock gate, they installed it. I called my insurance company and I said, if I have a problem, my house burns down, I said, nope, you did not get a permit. You did not go to the city and get a permit. Your insurance is not covering it. If that smart meter burns your house down, Miss Eckert, your house is gone.
Okay, I think there's an awful lot of information that's
Yeah.
still not, out there, but the bottom line is, if these candidates, if they get elected, will create a law that says we don't want smart meters, and it passes both, if they see something like that, and there's tons others just like that. There's tons others just like that. So, by the grace of God, we need to get the elected officials to sponsor a law that will stop this, because people don't know this. They just think, oh, the electric company is God, just do what they say. And before we could choose which one we wanted. Now we can't even choose. So, and it's what's happening, it's more and more. It's the condos, the housing projects, the nursing homes, the ones that can't fight back, basically.
Yep. The seniors.
The seniors.
Exactly.
All right, so anyway, we have another one to come up on Common Core
The one you said, or
Yeah.
the one that Kayla?
at your house.
Huh?
At your house.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
That was yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like us to respond to that? Like that?
Well, not right now because there's two. There's going to be two. I'm going to do it all at one time. But this one is on Common Core, and a lot of parents don't understand this. Common Core, while he's setting it up, Common Core is basically written by a Muslim who got passed by a group. NEA, which you'll see on there, NEA was the one that, ever since God was kicked out of public schools, the devil jumped into NEA and started doing all kinds of ungodly curriculum, laws, rules, and all of the curriculum is designed to dumb down the students. Now, how better can you become a tyrant when the people under you don't know very much? So we need to fight this Common Core. We need to fight the C-scope, which is another name for Common Core. They just thought they would fool everybody, deceive everybody. It's the same thing. So we'll go ahead.
Most everybody here know what Common Core is.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
curriculum.
All right.
Thank you.
A curriculum that covers basically what though? I mean, what different subjects?
It's all the
probably
subjects.
A broad range.
History, math, reading, all that, but it's dumbing them down or confusing them. Math, they say 2 and 2 is 5.
Now, the question I have is, okay, a curriculum that actually, that right now is or will be like kind of used also in schools and public schools is what you're saying?
No, they're doing it now.
In public schools?
Yeah. Here, I'll just make this real quick.
Or private schools?
No. Yeah, well, they can if they want to. But the public schools are forced. Anybody that takes federal funding, it used to be they had a choice. Again, they're forced. If you take this federal funding, you have to do Common Core. Now, the Texas legislation said no. They were smart enough. Both houses said no. The Texas SBOE, State Board of Education, said no. But the vice president of the SBOE said to the school districts, you can still do it because if you take the federal funding, you have to do curriculum. So my suggestion in here is drop the Department of Education, keep the funding, instead of sending it to the national, keep it for the local and state. Why send money to bosses who make laws that you don't like, who make curriculum that you don't like? Why pay them? It's up to you. But it's hard to think about because it's not in the Constitution. The Federal Department of Education is not in the Constitution. It's illegal as it is. Yes? Yes.
The question I have was, okay, now is this like a curriculum now people in the Department of Education from the federal government basically is this Common Core? Is it one individual in the United States idea, or is it like a broad spectrum that like from some educators that think that they need to force it on the states?
No, it's the Federal Department of Education.
Oh, okay.
Federal, see, they say if you take our money, you have to do our curriculum.
Oh, okay.
They never used to do that, but as of the new head of our country, always saying over and over again, forcing the people on doing things when we should have a choice.
That's right. So I see this, then definitely no doubt that this is another thing that's trying to be forced on different states and counties in the United States by the federal government.
Even though
through the Department of Education and funding, well, it comes down to funding too. We know that.
Yeah. So even though our state legislator, our state governor, our SBOE said no, they're still forcing it on us because they're not refusing the money. And the bottom line is we need to stop giving them the money, keep it ourselves, and because it is illegal to have a Department of Education, federal.
Right, it's not in the United States Constitution, But you're exactly right. Department of Entry is not neither. The IRS isn't neither. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. This is forcing by the federal government.
I have to say that I talked with Alice Linehan with Women on the Wall, and she's an expert at this. And she said that even the Christian private schools are affected by C-Scope because for example, Christian schools, the ACIS accreditation for Christian schools is requiring certain things to be complied with that follows Common Core or C-Scope. So without overtly accepting it, the Christian and private schools are also being forced into using elements of it because of their accreditation policies.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to say real quick before I go into it, because we won't have time for the end of it, but many teachers will say, well, I have to join a teachers union. Well, I have one at the very end says CEAI, Christian Education Association International. They have just fought California because NEA has forced 50 states to join NEA. They are forced. We are not, but 25, half of them. So they just had a law case they just won. So now none of the states are forced to take that. But CEAI is the only one I belonged to for several years in Florida. It is an excellent one for if somebody says, I don't know what to join, CEAI is a great one. Go ahead. This message is for Christian teachers, teachers in training, and parents, which are 75% of the U.S. citizens. Hello, this is Nancy Getman with the Christian Coalition of Bexar County, and we're here to inform the citizens, Christian citizens, of what is going on in the United States. Wake up, citizens. This documentary is taken from Concerned Women of America and Eagle Forum newsletters on the national level within the last couple of years, besides all of my 46 years of teaching experiences as a teacher, substitute teacher, and then earlier, 1954 to 1963, growing up when God was in the public schools. To start with, the National CWA, Concerned Women for America, biggest women's ministry in the USA, Beverly LaHaye and Penny Nance, in the May 2015 newsletter said, "Dear friend of freedom, there's a dangerous power grab unfolding within our nation's school." This was May 1st, 2015. And children and grandchildren like yours all over America have personally felt its stranglehold this school year. It's called the Common Core Standards Initiative. It's one-size-fits-all education for your children and mine, and it has the Obama administration written all over it. The Common Core is the federal overhaul of our education system to create national K-12 standards. This senseless government overreach was never voted on and lacks involvement by teachers, state legislators, and local officials, and parents like you. Estimating at a whopping $16 billion, these nationally mandated education standards must be met in order for states to receive much-needed federal education funding. In other words, it's a bribe. In other words, the Federal Department of Education in the past never gave out federal education money to the schools demanding that they do their special curriculum, ever. They are overriding their authority. This is the first time they ever did this for curriculum and rules. The power to set educational standards is constitutionally reserved to the states. But through the Common Core, the government is essentially swapping cash for power. Your state relinquishes its rights, then receives federal money, grants, and waivers in return. But there's good news, and you've played a part in it. Despite the federal government's devious attempt to hijack your child's education, common sense is beginning to rule the day when it comes to the Common Core. Opposition is building across the nation. Today, 40% of Americans say they disapprove of the standards, that is 40%. And with your help, CWA-LAC is leading the charge state by state in the battle to unravel the Common Core. As I write you, 40 states have adopted the Common Core. 8 states, including yours, have either refused to adopt the standards or battled and withdrawn their schools from their federal assault of their children. 15 states are currently pushing back the Common Core, taking the necessary steps to protect their states' children from the controversial standards. We strongly believe that your child, your rights as a parent, and our respective states' education systems are the unwitting casualty of the Common Core. That's why we're fighting tooth and nail to educate and involve friends like you in this great battle, protecting children like yours in every state of the nation. From this massive federal overhaul, I know that leaders in your state have been courageous and strong, standing against the tide and in the opposition to the Common Core. In Texas, we've had Dan Patrick, a U.S. Senator who is now Lieutenant Governor, and Donna Campbell, who is also a U.S. Senator. They've been fighting against the Common Core and the C-Scope. But nearly 85% of the country, the majority of our nation's public and private school children are still bound to these oppressive educational requirements. And I think you'd agree, there's no way the government is going to stop pushing the Common Core in your state. So we must remain diligent to fight for our continued freedom for the sake of your children and grandchildren and the future of America. And right now, we have a really shot at this. The local control of the Education Act has been introduced into both houses and the Senate. CWA LAC is proudly supporting this awesome effort to prohibit the federal government. We're speaking out in the media against the federal government in this area. We are educating concerned citizens like you across the nation. We are coming alongside the states in the battle to defeat the Common Core and in Texas, C-Scope. And we are keeping the constant pressure on our leaders at both the state and the national levels to stop the strong arm tactics and keep the federal government from trampling on states' rights. The Common Core is an epic failure. It has epic consequences for your children and grandchildren. Please take action now. Your children deserve better. Sincerely, Penny Nance, CEO and President. Okay. And if you want to find out more about this, go to www.concernedwomen.org and check out Common Core. The Texas Eagle Forum torched Kathy Adams over 10 years as president. This is an article on February 15th. February 2015, volume 28, number 2, said, "Parents are the key to removing C-Scope. A recently retired high school English teacher who has been in the classroom since C-Scope's beginning, there are views and information only a teacher could know and reveal about C-Scope. C-Scope is Texas' answer to Common Core, which attempts to replace the name of Common Core and has the same concepts but uses different name to fool Texans and still get the same curriculum and rules. The controversial education plan that would restructure the American education to a one-size-fits-all federal education system. The truth is we are telling students what to think and not teach them how to think. I must add that Common Core material is used often by teachers trying to stay ahead of the game. Since the brutal and strong-arm introduction of C-Scope, Texas schools increasingly graduate students who are unable to read, write, or think at grade level. American history has been changed. There is a plan to wipe out our Christian heritage through deleting more and more of our founding fathers' beginnings, like the Pilgrims and the colonists who fought for the Declaration of Independence and Constitution along with the Bill of Rights. Also, the students' comprehension and understanding of English language, literature, American and world history, algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, physics, and chemistry are also minimized. Classic literature, such as novels, poetry, and plays, are no longer allowed in the classroom. Literature is now abridged or to stunt or brighten a student's worldview. Stories about victims of man's inhumanity to man, and poems with perverse and immaterial deference to base thoughts that do not enlighten or brighten a student's worldview. Student skills, tools, and decision-making ability are diminished under C-Scope. This crippling opportunities to learn to evaluate, edit, apply, analyze, synthesize, evaluate, and gain a world-class education. All writing and reading is geared simply for minimal thinking to pass the STAR test. There are too many tests which take away from academic learning, and teaching from the test is wrong because there's no basic foundation that's built on. They bounce around with different concepts with no foundation to build on, like math and so forth. C-Scope makes no allowance for students' varying abilities, skills, and behavior. The quantitative disregard to develop critical thinking skills, intelligent and intellectual tools, as well as written and oral communication, is all the plan of the C-Scope founders and the districts that implement C-Scope. Every teacher is policed by a massive group of C-Scope's regulator, and I know that personally, making sure that teachers teach the same material in the same day each week. Only compliance is expected. Achievements, innovative and creative energy, and direction are no longer expected of the teachers. By the way, that does cost extra money to have these regulators from the state and the nation. Why pay our taxes to bosses, Federal Department of Education in D.C., who are making laws and curriculum which goes against our values? Why not keep our money in our state and pay for bosses who agree with our values? Change the TEA to another name and not be under the NEA. Keep our SBOE, State Board of Education group. I know Dan Patrick and Donna Campbell, both the senators at the time, did their best to keep the authority in the SBOE, State Board of Education, because they were fighting for the conservative issues. The majority of the people on the board are conservatives, and the leader is conservative. Curriculum used to be decided by the state and local authorities, but today the National Department of Education is cramming it down our throats, which is heavily influenced by the NEA. When God was kicked out, the devil came in through the NEA, which piggybacked on the Federal Department of Education and affected them what to do. It is my suggestion we drop out of the Department of Education and sending our taxes to the Federal Department of Education and keep it for ourselves for state and local use only. Why should we pay for bosses who we not just disagree but are totally against? If you want to join a good teachers union, join the CEAI, or Christian Education Association International, which encourages and equips and empowers Christians serving in the public and private schools. I was a member for many years and enjoyed it, demonstrating God's love to the educational community since 1953. I'm suggesting if you want a good teachers union, CEA is one of the best. You can make your own decision. Contact through CEAI, Post Office Box 45610, Westlake, Ohio 44145. Email info@ceai.org or website www.ceai.org or telephone 1-888-798-1124. And I leave you with what they stand on. The philosophy of the classroom today will be the philosophy of our government tomorrow. And they wrote this from Abraham Lincoln's quote. And that is the truth. If you don't do something soon, it's been a long time. We need to start going after our legislators and getting after our legislators to not just back conservative laws, but drop the taxes, federal taxes to the Department of State Education. Drop it immediately and keep all our tax money for education with our state and our local office. Create our own, instead of TEA, change the name, change the structure so that we are no longer under NEA. And we can operate the way that God wants us to operate. God bless you. Have a good day. God bless America. Federal Department of Education, and keep it for our state, keep it for our local. Get their own group to decide what they're going to do for curriculum and laws. Change the TEA. I know that Michael, anyway, he, the one that's head, Williams, the one that's head of the TEA now is a good man, okay? He's a good man. He just needs to get out from under the NEA, change the laws, because he could change. He can easily change with it if he's still up there. At least the last time I knew he was. So we just need to have a change from TEA to another name, different structure. Yes, you have a question? All right. So these are just some suggestions for our people that's running for office, and for those to support them. You know, get petitions up, help them, because they can't do it unless they have somebody to back them up. Yes.
Nancy, does the AFT still exist?
Yes, they're another group. They're another group. They're not as bad as NEA, but they are. They're, you know, they're with the unions. The unions for.
They still call the teachers into joining because of the legal fees.
Right.
That's how they're
That's a
coerced.
right. They think that they need to have protection from parents or anybody suing them. And the CEO, it's the same. It's a union. It's just like. Well, I mean, when I say it's a union, it's a workers' union, AFL-CIO. It's that type. So there's not a lot of conservative values in that. So again, that's another group that they've been pushing in, but they're not as good either. The one that I suggest is CEAI. There might be some others I don't know of, but I do know they're good. So, but we do want to ask the two candidates if they could come up. Yes.
Can we go together or alone?
Together. The first question from the Christian Coalition, then we'll have it open for the group. The first question is, would you support a law to get rid of smart meters in San Antonio and Texas?
Okay, while I was sitting there, I Googled smart meters to see exactly what they were. And my question would be, does it reduce power outages? That would be a question, because, we have power outages. So before we would say yes or no, let's research this. Does it cut carbon emissions? A lot of people want to, cut carbon emissions. Can it cause fires? I think that was brought up. That's a big thing. I would want to research, could hostages take over it and keep us from having power? I mean, nowadays we think of what could terrorists do. That would be a question I would want to research.
Here's something to think about too. No matter which one we have, it would be the same for terrorists. So right now we're looking at the difference between the smart meters and
Nancy, ask the question on the microphone. People
Okay.
can't hear you.
Yeah.
What you're saying, please.
Right. I see some good questions here. It's things to look about for further research, but
Don't get so close to it.
okay. It's good to look for further research, but I think if you find out about cancer, brain damage, damaged DNA, horrible headaches, I didn't have a chance to show all that, which would have shown a lot of that. But what I'm saying is, with that, I would do the questions, because even if they were important, and you can still check it out, you can say undecided.
Right. And here, if you Google smart grid, there's pictures of it. It's like, wow, it's really great. It would be like voting on whether you have the telephone or whatever. But the other questions, I would want to research it before we vote yes or no.
Okay, so undecided.
I have a question.
Yes.
You can answer. Okay, are these smart meters now, they're pretty much put in by the electric power companies? Is that where they're starting? Pretty much is that
The
what it is?
electric part,
Okay.
I know, I have a friend that got something in her home I'm kind of getting it confused with that thing where you can regulate your temperature.
That's it.
Is that it? That's the same thing? I have a friend that got that.
It's two pieces.
Right.
So regulating your temperature is a thermostat, then. That's what regulating.
Right, that's what she got.
And other things, a lot of stuff is done,
Nancy,
a lot of things are done by
I can answer that
computer
question
things
for
also.
that gentleman there. The men that put in the smart meters were brought in from up north that worked for the people that manufactured these smart meters that were manufactured in another country.
Okay.
So it's a contract to up north regarding these young men that don't even live here. So San Antonio didn't even get the jobs.
And a very interesting thing, besides infringement,
Very interesting.
I believe infringement on our rights, which is
And
wrong.
infringement.
But also, a gentleman over there also brought up an interesting point.
I just don't have
That,
time to fight it.
right, that the installers, almost all the installers, they're not a licensed electricians themselves.
No, they're not.
So that's a good point.
They're young men.
Right, and my big question would be, could CPS pay for it out of their profits?
No.
Why is the answer no?
Because they're trying to make profits. That's what
I know, but is that, can we, I mean, do we have to do, whatever? Yeah,
You can do further if your decision is undecided. That's your
yes, okay, mine said it's,
Now again, I'm sorry, this, with the meters you said there, that's mandated by, are coming in from the federal government, correct? Or pretty much kind of mandated?
From the
now?
city, CPS.
Oh, from the city,
CPS,
okay,
they're
the
telling
city.
us what to do.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
China or Japan.
Okay. Are we same question, or we still the same question? Okay. Well, first off, it's, looking at the smart meter argument, I think the most important thing to do is what you're looking at is you're looking at a microcosm of a larger argument, and that's an argument about privacy. And I know I'm always hesitant to say that having spent 20 years in the intelligence business and having worked with those affiliated with NSA, I think that makes people a little jumpy. But I've also spent the last couple of years working for one of the two senators who sponsored legislation in the United States Senate to pull back on NSA type activities. They actually sponsored the most recently passed USA Freedom Act, which was a replacement for the Patriot Act, which reined in NSA activities, which I know are some of the concerns with this. But let's get to the crux of the issue. So I'm obviously, always in favor of privacy over government interference. I'm a very limited government type of guy. But when you come down to certain issues, look, to be frank, I'm running for county commissioner, which is an executive department and not a policy-making or law-making entity. So I can't give you a guarantee that I can write legislation or do that, because that's not what we do. We extend and enforce and are a leg of the state legislature, so it's a much more applicable question for them. So my quick answer would be, I just don't consider it applicable to the job at hand. So I have personal opinions on a lot of things, but if you're asking me, what my role is as county commissioner, I don't want to, one of the things I'm always guarding against is overreach of government, and for me to go out and talk about issues that don't apply to the job is an overreach of government. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to say it's not applicable to this current job, but we'll default back once again to privacy and once again back to choice, as I think everyone should have a choice to be able to do that and be able to opt out as they see fit to do. And I'm happy for people's personal choice on that, but I'm not going to sit here and make promises on legislation that I have no authority to even write or an overstep of my job.
I do have one other question. And I'm not doing that. Okay. The other question is the fact that it wasn't allowed, that they have a choice, like the opt-out is a lot of money. They should be able to opt out without any money.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all.
So maybe you can say part of it you agree with.
Well, I agree with the ability to have your freedom of choice, which is exactly what I just stated. But once again, you're talking about an entity and CPS and things like that. That's a great argument for city council. It's a great argument for the state legislature, and I encourage people to make those arguments.
But the county can't do anything with that?
No, it is way outside the scope.
I would want to know what major cities in the U.S. have it now. Do we know the answer to that question?
If you saw it further, it would have lots of them that had fires that are against.
So a lot of major cities have it now. I would want to research that. And also, I'll have to, what major cities have it? Should we do it? I would want to know the pros and the cons. What are the pros of having it, the cons?
if I had been able to let you see, there was a lot of cities that were having problems with them. Now the company themselves has a lot of positive things that sound good, but whatever it is, personally, I wouldn't want cancer. You know, I wouldn't want, there were so many stories and I wasn't able to do it, so maybe we can let you see them later. But the thing that you're saying is that people should opt out without pay.
You should always have a choice.
Yeah.
I have something about the opt-out without pay. What if you live in an apartment complex or you're somebody that lives somewhere for a year? Can you say, I'm opting out, and then you move out, somebody else can move into that apartment? The people before them opted out.
Well, the opt-out is a better choice because it's cheaper. Because with the smart meters, you have to pay every 15 years to replace it, while with the old ones, it's 50 years. So, you know, it's like you're paying 3 times as much for the new one, and it causes fires. But anyway,
So, well, I would think if you sold a house that didn't have it, what would happen?
Well, that's a good question. And maybe you can make the law that the new owners could make the decision or whatever. But anyway, the bottom line is we wanted to see what was happening. I have a couple more questions. One, I'll just say the 2 questions and you can ask them. Would you seek the endorsement of the Pastors PAC, the Texas Leadership Coalition, the Family Association?
San Antonio Family Association.
Yeah. Or would you seek the LGBT endorsements, or both?
I'll go first on this one. And Jack, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the San Antonio Family Association has already publicly endorsed me based on my meeting with y'all a couple months ago. So,
I don't know exactly the status is there.
but you were at the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I know I've attended a couple of events. So, obviously the San Antonio Family Association, a very important organization in San Antonio. I have met, as Jack has said, I have spoken at SAFA events already. I've actually accepted an award on behalf of Governor Perry for the SAFA. So certainly a group that I feel I've earned their endorsement, would certainly seek it if I haven't yet. Pastors PAC, I have had the chance to speak with Pastor Gonzalez at Cornerstone Church and some of the other folks, and the conversation is they are actually getting ready to interview candidates, and I'm actually seeking their endorsement and would willingly seek that. I have no interest in anything else at that point. Those 2 groups provide great services and great camaraderie here in the city of San Antonio and Bexar County, and I hope to be able to earn both of theirs.
Would you seek the endorsement of the Pastors PAC, San Antonio Family Association, Texas Leadership, which is basically Catholics and conservatives, or LGBT, which is the homosexual group, or both?
I'm not familiar with all of those, so I would have to check it out. So I'm undecided.
I don't care.
I think that's everything.
Jack's got a question.
Yes, Jack?
Nancy,
Yes.
those are a couple of the main questions you have. You may want to open up the floor for any questions that you
Yes.
have.
Are there any questions from the floor? Thank you, Jack. Yes.
Oh, it's for our next commissioner. What church do you attend?
What church do I attend? I attend, and my family, we attend St. Peter the Apostle in Vernon, which is close to our house, Catholic. St. Peter the Apostle, which is the Catholic church in Vernon. That's where we go. It's close to our house.
Thank you. I'd heard the young lady.
Yes, I attend the First Unitarian Universalist Church, which is basically a church of free thinkers. We accept everybody who's been unhappy with the church, so I'm familiar with all types of denominations, Jewish, Catholic. I grew up as a Catholic, but I went to a Catholic school, but I attend the Unitarian Church. Yes?
I have another question. Since the Unitarian Church, do they accept the LGBT?
Yes, they do.
Okay, thank you.
Aaron, a couple years ago, county commissioners in Bear County passed a initiative that essentially gave domestic partner benefits to county employees. It was kind of done really under the cover of darkness because they didn't really state what it said on the agenda at the time. And only the Christian community only learned about it after that was placed and then loudly protested about it afterwards. Kevin Wolf actually voted for that. We would like to know where you stand on such an initiative, whether you would make an attempt to rescind it, but you are the commissioner.
Are you talking about for everybody or just the City of San Antonio employees?
County employees, the county commissioners ask domestic partner benefits, the kind of benefits that are not just for married couples, but for any employee who has another adult in the household who they may or may not be married to. It may be a homosexual partner, it may be a lesbian partner, it may be a heterosexual partner but not married to them. The Christian community thought that was rather was very dismayed by that, and would like to know if you would attempt to make try to make an attempt to rescind it, even if you know you don't even have the majority of votes on the county commissioner's court.
Right. Well, when that was that what 5 or 10 years ago?
Just 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Well, now that President Obama has, redefined marriage, it's a different world now. It's 2016. So, would I rescind that? No.
Thank you very much. We appreciate both of you coming up and
I'll give a quick answer. So, hey, great question, Jack, as always. Number one, you said the fact that the Commissioner's Court passed an ordinance. In my initial remarks, I think I was very clear what the Texas Constitution designates what Commissioner's Court can do. They are not a policy-making body. They're not a law-making body. They are an extension of the state legislature. So the quick answer is overstepping their charter and their authority, so shouldn't have done it to begin with. Number two, because they're not a policy-making body, I defer to what the state legislature stands, and that's where we need to be. Now, getting back to your initial crux on will you fight for these things? Look, the way Commissioner's Court is designed right now, there is one Republican seat on Commissioner's Court. It is imperative that the person that occupies that one Republican seat reflects the conservative values of the voters in Precinct 3. You always have to make an argument, even if you can't win the argument, even if you're outvoted 4-1. On certain issues that your constituency feels important, it behooves you to go make that argument, regardless of what it is. Now, you're talking about a very specific thing, but what we're really looking at is a microcosm, once again, of an attack on religious freedom across the national world, and also across the United States. So those are the things we have to guard against. Those are the things we have to fight for. And those are the things that we have to uphold as our values as the elected official representing the folks that put us there. So you have to go back and make the argument so it's held in the public forum. And then you can pressure folks to either rescind things or fix them. But at the same time, going back to the original thing that it's an overreach, you should never have done it in the first place, you have to go back to what those core competencies are that you're supposed to do on Commissioner's Court. So I know that when elected to Commissioner's Court, I will be fighting every day and making arguments, even though I know I may not win them. But I'm still obligated to make that argument. I'm proud to make that argument because that's what the voters expect me to do
And since I work for them, that is what I intend to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, one more question. With permission,
Question
this is Ruby Krebs. She happens to be a member of the Stonewall Democrats. I welcome her here to this meeting. She has to be here. She has a question for the candidates. So I think she.
One more question each one.
Well, this is just a follow-up to Mr. Wolf. Could you tell me what the entity is that makes policy for county employees?
Absolutely. Those are assigned by the state legislature. 1876, when the last Texas Constitution was ratified and we created Commissioners Court and we created county government, it was to be very specifically, and it is, an extension of the state legislature. And the reason it was that way was because we created 254 counties. We had government in Austin. Travel through Texas was challenging and difficult. So Commissioners Court and county government were created to be able to be a grassroots, closer level groups to the constituencies while the lawmakers were in Austin and couldn't travel from time to time. So therefore, it is an executive branch. It is a institutor and implementer of policy, but it's not a writer of policy. And that is one of the reasons that I'm running, is because I feel Commissioners Court in its current status has started to overreach and get into those areas outside of very constitutionally mandated requirements for Commissioners Courts. Roads and bridges, infrastructure, public policy or public safety, public health, the county jail, and maintenance of vital records. And anytime you start getting out of your scope, because you're also talking about getting out of your scope also means you're allocating resources to things outside of your primary functions. And if you do that, you are now taking resources away from primary functions that the voters and citizens expect you to do in order to pursue other things. And it's a matter of priorities, and until the priorities are met of what county government is supposed to be for, I'm hesitant to journey down any road outside of that scope first.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Thank you very much, both of you. I know you've done a great job. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
We're running over time, but I wanted Rosemary to come up and speak to us about the 2140 Holocaust. We've been trying, it's over a year now, 52 weeks. We've had 50 press conferences on why it's illegal, that they never should have passed it to begin with, because it was an illegal zoning. Number one, it was illegal zoning, and it was out of their league. So, we will, yeah. So if she could come up and speak on this very important issue, that how we're coming, because most people would have given up, and usually it's a San Antonio Family Association, and then afterwards, Marion was here. We will get to Marion. She was here, the first one here, so she's, but we also have Gerard Ponce and Weston Martinez and Sheila Bean to come up and speak. So, but we'll do it since Marion was here, the first one. I think we'll have you next, and then we'll do the other three because she was the first one here. Thank you, Rosemary Glass.
All right. The message that God has given to the church is also the same message that's coming out on the National Day of Prayer. Wake up! We have a problem with this. The church is asleep. If you've ever been to any pro-life things, everybody across the denominations says the same thing. Why isn't church doing something about this? The church has gone to sleep. It's never going to change. It's the law. Can't do anything about it. Okay? So our governor, Rick Perry, and the Attorney General at the time, Greg Abbott, who is now a current governor, they pushed through some regulations for ambulatory surgical center, which is what Planned Parenthood does, is an abortion clinic, okay? And so this closed a whole bunch of abortion clinics. Now, one of the things that they said was you had to be within 30 minutes of a hospital, and it was different things, so it forced them to close down. Well, needless to say, this really made Planned Parenthood pretty upset. So they vowed to make the largest abortion clinic in Texas, to get back at Rick Perry for doing that in his state. And so, through the regulations, properly used, Planned Parenthood has an abortion clinic off of John Smith right in the medical center. It's very close to Babcock, okay? But now they have a really huge abortion clinic, Planned Parenthood, on Babcock. It's 2140 Babcock. We like to call it 2140 Auschwitz. And so when they did this, they took this smaller building and they expanded it and made it 2 stories. What was originally in the building is, well, one of the businesses was a rehab place, you know, like physical therapy, that kind of thing. And right behind this abortion clinic, I mean, right behind it is this huge neighborhood called Dream Hill Estates, and that's what I passed out. And I don't know if any of you have ever driven through there. This is a really upper class, very beautiful neighborhood. The homes are older, but they're, you know, on a couple of acres, and they're more like estates, you know, different levels, and it's a beautiful place. And so I can imagine that they're not real happy about this abortion clinic being there. Plus, what happens is it brings us, the pro-lifers, it brings us, right? So now we're hanging out there. They don't like that. And so what happened was we started having more and more pro-life meetings, you know, out in front of the abortion clinic. Besides trying to talk to the women going in there, we also started having you know, rallies there and things. So we were parking all over their neighborhood. Well, they didn't like that. So what happened was, even though Dream Hill Estates residents don't like the abortion clinic, well, they hate us even more, right? And so Planned Parenthood got involved in their thing, and we were actually originally parking down the street in a restaurant that's vacant. It's for sale. There's just a big empty parking lot. So Planned Parenthood went down there, so they put a chain across it and said, you can't park here now, okay? And so we were parking all over the neighborhood. So what Planned Parenthood told them to do was make it illegal to park there. So all over the streets that are close to Babcock, where the clinic is, are no parking in front of all these people's houses. But we still come, and we still park around. We have to walk further, whatever, it's okay. Not anything we're unfamiliar with. We're not doing anything illegal, and it's a very, I'd say, a peaceful kind of thing, even though the media might say it's otherwise. All right, so anyways, in the pictures of the pro-lifers, those are some of my friends, and they're really wonderful people. And if you ever wanted to come out with us, we would love to have you there. And basically, you could stand there and hold a sign. Stand there and pray. You don't really have to do anything. And you will not get arrested. Although we have been harassed by the police. I got one guy on film, and he was lying to us. You can't stand over here. You can't do this. And I filmed him. So we now have that against him. But it was, that police officer thought, this is fine. I'll just go ahead and lie to you. Get rid of you. You know, so you talk about police brutality. Well, there we were getting it. And we weren't committing any crimes.
Yeah, I was there one time. I've been there a couple times with Christian Peace Church. It was terrific. The talks were amazing. One lady that had abortion and so forth. It was amazing. It really was the Holy Spirit, and God was there, really touching the hearts. It was really, I really got amazed.
If you want to do something that God's in, you can get the pro-life thing. He's so in it, I mean, your head is spinning. Okay? We don't just go there. We go a lot of places. Our group is called Love and Truth Ministry. And we've been up to the college. You know, they're not friendly. But you know what? They listen when you start to talk to them. And I mean, we've had people, of course, who've had abortions get healing. We had people get saved. I had a really great discussion with the young man who was gay, and his father was a pastor. It was a really good conversation. It was really good. And it's just a lot of fun for me as a Christian to go out there. It's just a lot of fun. So anyway, so it's not, I've never been shot. I've never been arrested. In fact, nobody's really going to get arrested because we're not doing anything wrong. It was when they were blocking the entrance to the clinics that they were getting arrested. So you shouldn't have any problem at all. And in fact, I've had on several occasions the cops come alongside and say, I'm with you guys. So it's not as in their pocket as they might want to say it is. Anyways, and they're also there to protect us. We don't need any lunatics doing anything either. All right, so what the San Antonio Family Association did was they brought suit against the city. This is Zone C1, but this building, there's a couple of things wrong. One thing is a C1 facility is not supposed to be over 5,000 square feet. This is like 22,000, right? Remember the biggest killing center, right? There's no cold storage where you're going to have that. Remember, baby parts. And you pay for your abortion, and then they sell your baby parts. Well, shouldn't you maybe get a discount or something? It's all about money. That's the reason they're in it. It's about money. And it's too close to a neighborhood. And we've been down to the SAW's office. We had a big discussion with them. And what's happening is your city council member, Ron Nuremberg, and I just think that's an interesting name, a nice German city there after we're calling it Auschwitz. He's been bribed, okay? And that's his district, and he is in with Planned Parenthood. So it doesn't matter if you live in Dream Hill Estates and you hate this. Doesn't matter who you are and you hate it. Doesn't matter. We're going to change the laws, and that's what they've been doing. They've been rewriting the laws to accommodate Planned Parenthood. This is why they put all that money into building the building first. They knew they had them all in their pocket. Yep. They knew it. And at least through this time, we've seen some things change. We've gone down to the city hall. Like I said, we went to the SAW's place. We had a big thing with them. They heard from us. And they were Dream Hill Estate people there too. And then they all got together and they purposely, they started the meeting an hour late. They all got together after they listened to us, and then they all voted in unity against it. Against us, I guess. Okay, so they voted in unity for Planned Parenthood. Whatever it is we have to change to accommodate them, we're going to do it. And so this is what's happening in your city council. So the last thing was we had a citizens to be heard, and if you've ever gone to citizens to be heard, there are a whole lot of people there. There's usually not a seat left. Majority of the people speaking are conservative for whatever the issue is, and my goodness, it is a church service. The only thing missing is an altar call. It's, the people for family values are there. And so they had the last citizens to be heard. They did it right at Christmas. They made it real inconvenient. They keep trying to play these little games to make it difficult to do their job like they're supposed to be doing for us, right? And so at least this time, it was a partial victory in that they didn't just completely say Planned Parenthood can do whatever they want, and we'll change whatever we need to change to make you happy. They said it still has to go through the correct process. So that's something, okay? And what we've been doing. And we did delay them opening, and we are there, and the people from Dream Hill Estates, they don't like any of this. So we've stirred up something. And I think it's time for the church, if you are pro-life, there are a lot of things you can do. You don't have to just, come out to the sidewalk or whatever, but maybe you could sometimes. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of Christians that would be, and it really makes a difference. When we're out there, if it's a lot of people, they're not going in to have their abortion. They'll come another day. They don't like it. And I'm just telling you, you would believe it. I mean, God is so in it. I've seen so many people turn around for the least little thing. And you don't know. You don't know. God is really in it. Did I leave anything out?
Yes, you did.
What?
I left a very important thing out for this group to know that every Thursday we have a press conference at 12 o'clock at 2140 Babcock. And I don't know if you know Pat Van Dolen, Mike Konopke, and Sylvia Villarreal, but if you don't, go out there and get to know them. And I will guarantee you that those people are on their knees on that sidewalk. I can't get on my knees, so they furnish me a chair. But those people get out there and we hold prayer, and they're on their knees. So if we ever to get anything done, it's going to be on our knees. Get out there and help these people. Help Patrick Van Dolen. Show up on Wednesday night. Tell City Council, let's listen to her, not it's recorded. It goes on record. Most of the time City Council isn't there. But show up, be present. This is an important issue. They did change some zoning, but it now can an abortion clinic can go into your neighborhood, and they're just waiting. Yeah, they did put a little conditional use because of Councilman Gallagher. He did hold them off that They have to go through another board to get permission now. But they can go out in the neighborhoods. I've got one in my neighborhood that we closed, and I will guarantee you, they're just waiting right now to open that clinic, and I will be fighting that. So do, show up on Thursday, or show up on Wednesday or Thursday. Be present, stand up.
They're out there, and it's all ages. I mean, it's all ages. You'll have teenagers all over. We want everybody out there. Men, of course, are welcome. There's the boyfriend sitting out there. You can talk to him. It's very open, and everybody's really very wonderful.
Okay, the question I have is, okay, Planned Parenthood, okay, we know if the Congress appropriates the money pretty much, and if the president signs it or passes, that's where they get a lot of the money from now. Now, is Planned Parenthood, evidently it's not an actual federal government organization, correct? Okay. So, answering basically my own question is then, okay, they could be funded, of course, through private donations, right? Just like any other organization. Or,
yes, they are funded through private organizations.
Or private companies can give them money. I'm sure they can, right?
Right. Well, what is it? Is it Buffett?
Well, Warren Buffett.
Yeah, Warren. I want to say
Warren gives them money. A lot of
yes.
money. Okay.
Yeah, there's one of their donors.
Well, he's got the money to do it, that's for sure. But anyway.
Taxpayer money too.
Yeah, but anyway, what I'm saying is, though, okay, Planned Parenthood, right, gives money to a certain political parties or candidates running for office, right? What I basically see is there possibly might be a big financial money scandal there to also include with the Internal Revenue Service. Because my point is, okay, if the Department of Education or the Department of Energy or I mean, it's based almost like that, like it's Department of Education, Department of Energy, even though I know they're not the federal government, right? Or like the Department of Agriculture, they're giving money to a political candidate to vote a certain way, right? So my point is, I see some illegality of this. I don't know about the money and all that, because you're talking about millions of dollars that they're giving to a certain political candidate or whatever, and they might not believe in Planned Parenthood. You see my point, though, right?
Right. If you don't enforce the law, we'd all be speeding, right? So we know we could get caught. Well, we're trying to enforce the law, and you got the people who are supposed to enforce it saying it's okay, just rewrite it.
So my point is, again, here the accountability of money, and possibly there might be some scandals with the IRS.
And everything the pro-life side does is we pay for it. And if people really are pro-choice, you'd think they'd be donating a lot of money and paying for it, right?
Just one more thing. I will tell you that your councilman, Ron Nunberg, got the most money on city council from Planned Parenthood, and Mike Villarreal, and there was one more and I can't think of it, but Ron Nunberg got the most money. You can check it out. It's on the internet from Planned Parenthood.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Very much, Rosemary. Yes. Oh, yes, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to ask one question. Did your organization vet Ivy Taylor when she was running on this issue?
Did we vote for her?
What I'm asking is, did you
investigator interview her
about this issue? Did you speak to her about this issue?
Yes.
Did you get any commitment from her on this issue? Okay.
Okay, just real quick, thank you again for your information and for Betty, that anybody wants to come out Thursday nights at 12 noon or 12:15 for the press conference. It's been going over 52 weeks.
Number 58.
58.
Coming up.
58 coming up. So that's a long time. And I do want to say, Betty, too. Betty.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I want to say that SAFA has saved over 1,000 babies because they pushed it and they pushed it and they pushed it from March until May because they were pushing that it was illegal, and it is. And that's something the whole state, the whole state will have to look at. So anyway, thank you for all your information. I wanted to have Marion, would you come up?
Yay! Just go up there. You don't have to talk. You're pretty enough. Take a break. Take a picture. We got to take a picture. Patty won't believe she was speaking, so don't be sure Patty
Oh, okay.
even though.
Well, welcome, and thank you, Nancy, for inviting me to speak today. And I just want to let you know, I'm Marion Stanko. I am running for county chairman of the Republican Party of Bear County. And that is a party position, and I appear at the very bottom of the ballot, go all the way down. You know where president is, that's very top, and the county chairman is responsible for filling all the slots in between. So that's a major job of the county chairman. A lot of people don't know the party exists. They don't know what the county chairman does. The main thing is that we have to accomplish the mission of the party. That is to maximize the number of votes for the Republican candidates. The problem is you can't vote for a candidate if they're not on the ballot. And that's something that I really want to work on. I have a long-term plan. Lately, the county chairman worked on a 2-month plan, and that's not sufficient. We have got to be prepared to have candidates for at least the next 10 years, not just for the primary, where there are 16 vacancies on the ballots this time. And guess what? There's no Republican to get elected, so guess who it goes to? It goes to whoever else is appearing on the ballot, and it's not us. And we don't have enough candidates on the city council ballots, or on the school board ballots, or on the water boards. These all impact us. Those candidates become elected officials, and guess what? They represent us, the bosses. We should be telling them what to do, as we've been talking about earlier. That's very important. They represent us, and they are managing our money. So we need to have a farm team put together so that candidates are prepared to step in where it's needed. And, you know, we not only need candidates, we need volunteers. That has gone down more than 50%. We need precinct chairs in the neighborhoods. That's gone down 25%. And we also have election workers. That's gone way down. We've got a lot of attrition there. They're not turning in enough people. So I hope that you will vote for me, Marion Stanko, for county chairman. Go to the last slot on the ballot. Go all the way to the end. Thank you. Yes, sir.
So this is Republican Party county chairman? Then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, you'll have a good high position if you get elected to that one. Now, okay, explain. Well, you just said what they basically do. They also do work on getting the vote out for the Republican Party.
That is correct.
In the county. Okay.
Yes, we've got to help the voters have a choice on the ballots, and we've got to have qualified, trained candidates.
Okay.
You know, we can't just have people just walk in and say, "I'm going to run for Congress," and they don't even know what the job entails. That's not good.
Okay, I have a question for you then. Okay, what's your qualifications for bringing it? Tell me about your background.
I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
I have served as the executive director for the county party for 11 years.
Wow. Okay.
I served as the state committee woman for the SREC, which is State Republican Executive Committee, for 10 years. I chaired several committees there. One very important one was the Party Organization Committee, and we provide all the resources for all of the county chairmen, all the precinct chairmen, and all the candidates with manuals, presentations, and then I served on the Candidate Resources Committee that provides funding for the candidates in the local offices. We always do the down ballot because there's other groups that provide money for, you know, the statewide and the district offices. You know, we've turned quite a few counties red that were either blue or purple, and that's a very important position. In some of those counties, $500 is more than they would ever need. Now, in this county, that doesn't even buy postage.
Right.
You have another question?
Okay. So what church do you attend, or what faith basically are you associated with?
I'm Catholic, and I'm a parishioner of St. Gregory's. And my mother was at St. Paul's. My sister was at St. Luke's. I actually went to both of those schools growing up, and I've always been involved. Now, my grandchildren are Jewish. And so, and then my father was Baptist, so I've got an ecumenical family.
All right, that's really good.
Thank you.
I'm glad you told me about your qualifications, because you know a lot of candidates today, that question, I mean, even at high levels, it's not even asked that much.
Exactly, and to go even further, I'll age myself. I've been an election judge for more than 40 years.
Wow.
I've been a precinct chairman, and if you don't know what that is, you represent your neighborhood on the party executive committee, and you're in charge of getting the word out to your neighbors. Some of them have neighborhood associations where it's easier, they have a newsletter. I'm an orphan in my neighborhood, there is no association, so I have to go door to door to get that message out. But that's important because we don't want uninformed voters. The more we can get the communication out, that would be better. Yes, Paul?
Just to tell, I guess I got several questions, I'll put them in at the same time.
Should I ask you to get your name and your precinct number? Paul's been a delegate at the state, at the district conventions I've presided over.
Yeah, one stream of questions has to do with the current leadership.
Yes, sir.
In the county, and the weaknesses, strengths, what you would do different, kind of thing.
Okay.
And the other thing is this more general, I guess. Being a party official, how does that mesh with your own personal views in terms of selecting a wide swath of candidates who themselves are diverse, look at the presidential candidate?
Great question, Paul.
And
okay.
How do you reconcile that with your own personal views when you go to lead to the state convention and things like that, and helping to field vacant or recruit vacant, you know, how does your own personal views on the different issues?
Well, I come into this campaign with a very large group of coalitions who all want to see to it that we get our party back. The current chairman is a nice fellow. He's popular. He has a very nice public image. However, I question his fiscal responsibility. He has not been presenting his campaign finance reports properly. We had an issue last year when they were block walking. They printed off a whole bunch of sample ballots in white. And if any of you know what a sample ballot looks like, it's supposed to be yellow by law. And he shrugged his shoulders. And when I served as primary administrator, he actually told me I had to leave a candidate on the ballot, even though they were definitely not qualified. I have an ethical issue with that. That just rubbed me the wrong way. I've already noticed that the office is wonderful, it's beautiful, it's big, but brick and mortar does not elect candidates. And it doesn't help if it's empty all the time. There's way too few candidates and way too few volunteers to help them today. Yes?
As you know, the most important job of the party is to get out the vote. What do you plan to do to get out the vote?
Well, having worked for hundreds of candidates for the last more than 50 years, I have been very familiar with getting out the vote. It takes volunteers, lots and lots of them, and I have recruited hundreds, maybe thousands of them over the years. I have trained them. They need to know what they're doing, how to do it, what are the do's and don'ts, and that's very important. That's something that all the parties learn what to do, and the one who wins is the one who follows the instructions. So if somebody doesn't care about the rules, then how are they going to get their job done right?
And the precinct chairs are involved.
Oh, they're an integral part of that. They are the #1 priority of volunteers. Yeah.
Any other questions?
The only one, okay.
Yes.
This is a real very simple one.
Okay.
Is the Bexar County, Republican treasurer, is that an elected office, and that's a total different position here? Are they appointed or whatever? How does that work?
The treasurer's position is
the Republican Party one?
It's appointed by the chairman and then ratified by the executive committee. Jack had a question.
Yeah, well, just a second.
Yes.
That's enough questions because you have a lot of questions. You have a lot of
But I just want to know that if
yeah, you can ask her what.
Oh yeah, I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. Jack? Yes, sir.
Clarify, understand some things, be as blunt as you can. Where do you stand? Some of the social issues that the Republican platform addresses, such as abortion and the homosexual agenda.
Okay, no problem.
Do you support the state party's plans on those?
Oh, absolutely. I have not served on the platform committee for the state conventions, but I have served on the rules committees and the nominating committees. As far as the platform, I believe in the planks. I have an issue with some of them because they are actually contradictory, so that needs to be cleaned up. Going back to the abortion issue, I'm a charter member of the Right to Life of Texas. So I hope that answers your question. Being a Catholic and being the oldest of 10 children, I firmly believe that every child has the right to a life, whether when they're first conceived until their death. Okay. Okay, let me answer the other one. Okay, as far as the homosexuals or LGBT, and I think they added another initial since then, correct? Okay. I was brought up to love everyone, even your enemy, and you never reprimand somebody for themselves but what they did. You don't tell a child that they were bad, you tell them that they did something bad. There is a huge difference between them. And I hope that kind of explains it to you, where I'm coming from.
Well, your follow-up question. We all agree that we need to love those who are in the homosexual lifestyle, who don't have to live with them, when they cross the line and advocate for homosexual marriage, homosexual adoption of children, etc., etc. Where do you stand on those issues?
Okay, for one thing, marriage is one man and one woman, period. Okay, does that answer your question? Okay, I don't think that's an oxymoron when you're trying to make it something that it's not.
Thank you. Okay,
Nancy has a question.
Yes, I do.
She's dying over here.
Okay, they had this group come in one time for the LGBT.
We can't hear your question, Nancy.
Okay.
Nancy, we can't hear your question.
Okay, they had one time they had a group that tried to come in that was against the Republican platform.
Yes.
And so if they would try to come, would you allow them to meet?
Okay, I believe you're referring to the Log Cabin group of Texas, and having served on the state committee, the Log Cabins groups are not affiliated with the state party, nor with the national party, and the county party doesn't do the affiliation process. They just accept whoever is affiliated with the state. Therefore, they should not have come into the office. It's my understanding that the current chairman did meet with them at the office. He really should have gone off-site and found out what they're about and everything, and then tell them, hey, as soon as you believe in the platform and you stick to it, then you're welcome in.
Well, thank you for your answer.
You're welcome.
And I just want to straighten out a little bit about, he did allow them to come in one time because the secretaries had set it up and he didn't know it was set up. And so because he did not know it, he just met with them and, filtered it through, but they said no longer are they allowed to come to the party.
I wasn't even aware of the situation. Come here, she wants a picture. Yes. Better?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. And I will be here to answer questions. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate everything. And we have 3 candidates, Weston, Martinez, Sheila Bean, and Gerard Holmes. Is that correct? Come up.
Okay, that's a good
All
idea.
3. So, because it's so late, I'm just going to go ahead and have all 3. Now, each one is for different, railroad commissioner, railroad commissioner, tax collection. Okay, so there are 3 different positions to hear what they have to say. And they have 2 minutes each to speak on who they are and why they're running and what they think they can do.
Hi, it's good to see y'all tonight. My name is Sheila Bean, and I am running for the House of Representatives, District 121. Joe Strauss is the current incumbent. I will tell people that he is not my representative because he has not represented the values that I've lived by nor the values that I've found talking to the people in the district. Values that I find that are very, very important are pro-life. I am 100% pro-life. I always have been, I always will be, and I've been endorsed by the Texas Right to Life for the first time in 5 sessions or 5 elections. They have endorsed someone in 121, but they endorsed Jeff Judson and myself both. And I'm glad to share that. Also, I am a business owner. My husband and I have run a business for 35 years here in San Antonio. It takes a lot of hard work to stay in business successfully for 35 years, and we put it in because we like serving the public. We liked taking care of the jobs that needed to be done, and we felt it was very important in the industry of general aviation to have taken care of the business at Stinson Airport. I am a former school teacher. I've been in the public schools. I have homeschooled children, and I have also had children and grandchildren in Christian schools. I am very much a Second Amendment person, Life NRA. I think that this district needs a voice that is a citizen's legislator. The voice needs to be listening to the people and representing the values that this district has, pro-life values, religious values. My opponent, Joe Strauss, has not listened to these. His voting record, the fact that he doesn't vote at all, allows him to ride the fence on so many items. I really am in need of your vote to remove Joe Strauss so that we can therefore have a new representative for this district, and we can elect a new Speaker of the House for the entire state. This one district will free up the entire state of Texas to have conservative leadership in the House. So for that reasons and many more, I ask for your vote and your support. Thank you.
Next one is Gerard Ponce, and he is with Tax Collectors.
How you doing? My name is Gerard Ponce, and I'm running for the Bexar County Tax Assessor Collector's Office. I believe that, I know that there's 2 other opponents in this race. I hope to be the one that comes out of the race. I think it is time that we have a Republican tax assessor collector, someone who is conservative, someone who begins to show county leaders that we need to go ahead and reduce spending within the courthouse and the county areas, so that our taxes, so the community taxes do not keep getting raised. So we need to actually be more conservative in our spending. I'm actually a 17-year veteran, executive veteran there at the courthouse. I was chief administrator for the 11 county courts, took care of their budget and worked with everybody in the courts to work their budgets. But because of the way that they do things, they would try to spend every single dollar, every single last penny, so that the next year they were able to ask the Commissioners Court for more, and I believe that that should discontinue. I am actually a 10th generation Texan. My family started the city governments here in San Antonio along with faith organizations. They built the cathedral. Later on with my grandmother, we built 3 churches here locally, the Sacred Heart Catholic Church, the St. Timothy Catholic Church, and I forget what the other one was, but I've been involved with St. Timothy Church in Elmendorf. I've been involved in different churches throughout the community because of my families, but we're always there to support the community. I myself alone have over like 40 years of involvement in volunteering the community, and I would like to see this party grow. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Gerard, and thank you, Susan. Sheila. I want to say, Sheila Bean. And next we have Weston Martinez, represented by his mother. So who should know him better?
Good evening. Weston sends his condolences. He was in Dallas tonight, but he did want to be sure that I came and asked you for his vote. Many of you know Weston quite a bit, but I'm going to read you some of his qualifications you may not know. He has been blessed with a diverse professional career, including as oil and gas business development and government affairs strategist. with almost 20 years in the regulated telecommunications industry and now in the oil and gas industry. He has a unique pro-business approach, free market approach, and has been successful in identifying solutions. If you ever talk to Weston while you're talking about something, he's thinking about the answer. And Weston is, he's been married to his wife Geneva for 18 years. They have 5 children, a strong Christian family, attends church at Friendship Church for many years now. And recently he's picked up some endorsements. Kathy Adams of the President Texas Eagle Forum, as well as Jonathan Sines, President Texas Values, Joan Fleming, Executive Director, Grassroots America, We the People PAC, Ray Myers, Texas Tea Party leader, George Rodriguez, and I believe we got Strickland yesterday. So, and also he is has been on the committee to bring Franklin Graham to San Antonio for a couple of years now. So Weston is always for the people, he's always for business growth, and he is about small government. He's a hard worker, many of you know he is a hard worker, and it's time for Weston to win. And the only way he's going to win is if we, the ones that know him, get out there and really beat the bushes, because we need a Texas conservative in the Texas Railroad Commission. Do you agree?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
And somebody that knows their job really well.
Okay, I have a couple of questions, and then the audience, and then real quick, my one thing was, would you seek the Pastors PAC, Texas Coalition Leadership, and San Antonio Family Association, and or LGBT, or both?
Short and sweet, I certainly would request and want to get the Pastors PAC recommendation and endorsement, and any of the other Christian and religious-based, Judeo-religious-based, Christian religion-based groups. And no, I do not seek any endorsement, nor would I accept. I would reject anything from the LGBT.
Actually, would give the same answer. I would seek the Pastors PAC and not even attend a LGBT event. Thank you.
You know, Weston was at the forefront of fighting the NDO, and he said that I believe, has he submitted all these answers on the form that Nancy will be passing out, but the answer is that he would be for all the Christian and he would not be for the LGBT.
Thank you for
all the answers. We just wanted to be sure that we know where you were standing. And there was another, oh, I know. Weston was at the Billy Graham Crusade Planning Committee in Austin, where I was at, and for the Crusade for Lost Souls in Austin in April 26th. So it's at the steps. He's going to every single capital, just like Moral Majority with Jerry Falwell. So he's doing the same thing, but we're trying to get souls won to the Lord. Are there any questions for any three? Yes.
Yes, I have a question for Sheila Bean. When you say, I read your card, when you say protect religious freedom, do you include Muslim and ISIS? Is that the religion, they're considered religion?
I believe the effort about protecting religious freedoms is that each individual has the right to practice their own religion and not be infringed upon that religion or imposed upon their convictions such as the baker who wanted to refuse a business offer. I believe that it is an individual right and that no one should have religion forced upon them, nor should any individual have religion taken away, their religious values taken away from them. It's a personal, individual right to have your own religious beliefs and then to stand by them and to be able to run your business according to those. Regardless of your religion, it is still a religious freedom to practice what you want and not be forced to practice something you don't believe in.
So does that include the ISIS?
Well, ISIS is not a religion. Judaism, Islam or
the radical terrorists?
Those are not religions.
You don't consider them, okay.
No, they're not
That's
religions.
what I was, that's
There
what I
are
was, the
5
definition.
major religions in the world, and they are followers. They're different groups, but that has nothing to do with religion.
So, obviously-
ISIS is not a religion.
Right, obviously.
Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, there's one more.
Hindu.
Hindu. Thank you.
5, okay. there's
Anyone
5
who believes
others.
in their own personal religion should be able to practice it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question. I'm a little concerned about this issue. It might be something to speak to everyone. I'm concerned. I don't know exactly how to ask the question. I'm concerned about the homeless people here in San Antonio, and how Haven for Hope, they donate over like $80 million to them and so forth, compared to the 95-year-old lady from Alamo Heights, Brian, Mario right now, and they changed, but I don't know, I just wanted to mention that. I don't know, it might be different. I'm just concerned about the poor, the lowly, the people out there, out in the streets, and Haven for Hope just millions of dollars compared to the 95 lady to get out of their own pockets.
There certainly needs to be compassion for them, and their situation needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I would like to comment on that. I know me, since the last 40 years I've been involved in the community, I've actually volunteered at the Haven for Hope. I think that organization there needs to actually be revisited by the city council because of all the difficulties that they have in there, the women getting raped during the night by people, all kinds of people stealing the other person's stuff. So I think that we need to actually look very closely at the Haven for Hope again.
Yeah, because they donate. People out of their own pockets.
One question. No, good.
People out of their own pockets, like Brian, 95-year-old Alamo Heights, out of their own pockets. And they get millions of dollars. They donated $80 million.
So, Fred, one of the questions you asked is what's the accountability of the money?
The accountability.
The accountability.
Compared to the other people, one day I would have appreciated if they would have, when Haven for Hope came in, they would have invited the whole people, gave everybody $1,000 and got their ideas. Instead of just closing them.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
I just have one question. Woman running for, I'm sorry, you run for railroad commissioner, right?
My son.
Oh, who?
My son, Weston Martinez.
Oh, your son's running.
Right.
Okay. The question you know that then. Okay, Weston Martinez is his name? Okay. The question I have is, what qualifies him, for railroad commission? In other words, the question I have is what kind of jobs has he done and what kind of experience has he had?
That's what I just read.
I didn't catch much of it, he did.
He started a fracking company.
Oh,
he
okay,
works for
so-
AT&T. He's a T1 engineer for over 20 years now. He has his own businesses, several of them. He is currently appointed to the Texas Real Estate Commission, so he's already on a commission board and knows the process, and now he wants to move over to railroad, which is more in line with his career.
Okay. And what kind of businesses are you talking about? You said he runs, you said businesses.
He
Like what?
started a fracking company years ago.
What's a fracking company?
Oh, that's oil and gas.
Oil and gas?
Yes.
Okay, short for, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oil and gas, okay, thank you very much. Okay. And what about educational level? Okay.
He has a BA.
Okay, in what?
Business administration.
Okay, very good, outstanding.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay, is there any other questions? Okay. We really, yes?
I have another one for Sheila Bean. What do you mean by cap government spending growth and population and inflation for Texas?
That term, to tap taxes with population plus inflation growth, is an explanation of how we do not raise taxes higher than the increase of the population plus the inflation that occurs each year in our economy, so that we're not overtaxing the citizens that come in. We're supporting them, but we're not increasing the burden of taxes on people. And it's a very controlled tax increase that would not be above those percentages.
Are you,
I am in favor of that.
Because San Antonio, obviously.
This is a state office.
Right, so
I'll tell you what, I'll have to do, since it's 9 o'clock and we're an hour overtime. If you want to finish the questions, I'm sure she'll be glad to talk to her more about it. And you had some very good questions that we're just looking at the time. So are there any other questions? Okay, we really need to go because it's time to go, and I really appreciate all of you. Oh, here's the, I have all the surveys. We had 13 surveys that were finished out. And so I'll pass them around. I'll split it up, and y'all just pass it around to each other, because I'll split it up. But there's 13, so I should get 13 back. If you want those 10 points of prayer and Billy Graham's or Franklin Graham's, it's in the back table. Also, there's donations. If anybody would like to give donations to help pay for the room service, we really appreciate, and also any needs that we have that we've already expended. Harry has the hat to put the donations in if you would like to help out. Also, if you'd like to become a member, it's in the back table also.